I cannot get to stay on top just yet. I'm about to finish cooking though, so I'll be back shortly.
Yep, that is all right. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Crabby D&D. I'm here with my players, Beau.
Hello.
Cat.
Hi.
Kirv.
Hello.
Mortar from another life.
Goodbye.
Romulus.
And
Hello.
And Vinny.
Hello.
Okay. As you may have heard right there at the beginning, Romulus will be with us in just a moment. He's just finishing up cooking, as Romulus does tend to do so. And Mortar is off in another life for the time being, as he's got to get back to work. But we'll be back partway through the session. Yeah, boo. But work be what work be, unfortunately. But we are here, we are ready, and are you all ready to go?
yeah.
Yes?
So we just got here.
Did you, Papa? Not what I meant. Also, it didn't save what I tried.
For those interested, today Romulus has been making some buttered leeks to be
Ooh.
served with maple cured pork belly.
Fuck
and
yeah.
Potential sides of either rice or noodles,
Nice.
dependent on what takes his fancy.
Nice. And in the process
It's a
of
bit of a
making...
strange
Very
combo,
underrated.
but they're all things I like. So yeah.
Each their own. Okay. So, with that food making everyone hungry once again, let us begin. Welcome everyone. Glad you're all feeling well after last session. Today will certainly be an interesting one given what happened, but that's for me to know and for you to all eventually find out. Last session, our party of adventurers, Beau, Cat, Kirv, Mortar, Romulus, and Vinny had arrived in Mortar for Cat's court case, alongside the assistants of the travel, her grandfather Theomar. With the party setting themselves up in their rooms, getting some advice from one Progo Stingwort, and otherwise discussing their next steps, each of them divided and conquered their own general tasks. Beau enjoyed another nice bath, some drinks, and a bit of relaxation. Kirv and Romulus discussed the situation regarding Mortar. Cat and Vinny ran some errands, and Mortar went to get some answers to some much-needed questions. In the process of doing so, upon meeting the specialist who answered several of their questions, they seemed to be too involved in seeking the answers, and they began to go insane after interacting with some of their own writings. As Mortar tried to step in, giving a swift and merciful end, something intervened, taking control, before Mortar handed the reins over to them as they went about their tasks. Beau, as you're sat in the bar below the courthouse, you're just kind of there, you've had a few drinks, and currently you're racking up a little bit of a tab, but it's not a worry to you. As you're sat there, cigarette ashtray in front of you, as Mortar kind of comes in and sits down next to you and just kind of asks for one as well, the barkeeper going and getting a drink.
How you doing, pal?
Only got so many answers, unfortunately. But, I mean, I'm still here.
How you feeling about this court case?
I feel like if they wanted us dead, they would have killed us already, so I hope that it's going to go as Cat plans, really. I still want to look up some information regarding some of them, though. Just try and dig a little bit. But I don't want to cause any problems for her, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. Did you find anything out at all?
With regards to this, and he twirls his gun in his hand before kind of placing it on the tabletop. I learnt that it's not just bound to one god, but that there are plenty of them. Something to do with its original wielder or something. But I don't know the full details. They could only tell me so much before it got a bit too cryptic and a lot more guessing than facts.
Beau's kind of like looking at the gun. It's obviously quite a special looking gun.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's kind
of
this,
like eyeing it up.
It's this heavy, kind of dark metal, sleek weapon with almost these underside fins to one portion of it, almost like hooks or blades on the end of the gun itself. And you can see that where it comes to like its reloading mechanism, it looks, unlike your guns which are more refined and mechanically sound, his looks almost like it's not rudimentary, but more archaic and complex in design, yet not necessarily for a better outcome.
Yeah. Beau will kind of like take a quick check at Mortar, and then he'll pick up a napkin, and then he'll go to pick up the gun.
And he looks at it and just kind of gestures for you to do so. By all means, just don't touch the actual gun.
With the napkin, he holds the handle of it, just kind of spins it around in his hand.
It's heavy.
Kind of getting a gauge of the weight. Yeah.
It's heavy for a gun. You'd find using something like this a lot more cumbersome. Your guns are sleek, refined, and for that purpose you can use them quickly in their design. This feels just heavy in comparison. A hand cannon by...
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
And you say this is demonic in some way?
Maybe. Not necessarily demonic. It's tied to some old gods. Ones that aren't good or bad.
That's cryptic as hell, bro.
That's what I thought.
Why can't guns just be guns anymore?
It would be nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, it comes with some perks, and he kind of takes the gun, and you watch as it shifts into a long sniper-like rifle.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that seems useful.
Yeah, it can adjust quite easily. I still don't know what it really is.
That's the problem with things like magic and gods. You can never truly know.
Anyone else?
How do you think everyone else... Sorry, I was going to say, how do you think everyone else is holding up?
Well,
I don't really know him well enough yet.
I mean, you're the... Besides you, I'm the newest member. So I know a bit about each of them. I imagine Kat's probably quite stressed with the whole situation, given it's all revolving around her and how things go poorly.
Understandable.
Kirv didn't get her goose, so I imagine she's racking her brain about that and what steps to take next. Romulus is caring for Kat, so probably equally stressed. And Vinny's probably just having a good time. Well, other than to potentially speak to Carvern, who's, for your context, a dragonborn who was flayed, who had all of her scales removed and was being used for some cruel ritual.
Okay.
And we saved her, and she recently she was brought here so that the two of them could have a chat.
Damn. I knew this world was fucked up, but you learn something new every day.
It's weird with this group. There's a lot of strange things that happen with them. I mean, I'm no different. And so long as you're going to be okay with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got one girl who's got a demon inside her, or from what I can gather, some sort of a demon inside her. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's more, right?
Yeah, that's true. But you'll catch on soon. For now, I think we just need to get past this court, and then we'll be in a better situation.
Yeah, 100%.
Stretches.
Yeah, I think when everyone doesn't really know what's happening, it's kind of hard to move forward.
Yeah, that's true. Well, are any of the others still here, or have they all gone out for their own business?
I'll be honest, I haven't been keeping an eye out. I assume they're hovering about, because I'm guessing people are going to be getting called in soon.
Fair. Well, I'll go see if anyone's about. If not, I'll probably just crash in my room for a bit.
Cool. Well, I'm there if you need anything.
He nods and takes his guns, forms it back into Black Scorpion before kind of spinning it in the air and slotting it back in its holster before wandering upstairs.
Yeah, I'll just tilt the hat as he goes. Little nod of the hat.
Yeah, and gives you a nod. Shortly after, some guards approach you for you to give your court case. Would you want to do that now or after the Romulus, Kirv, and Mortar chat?
I'm happy to do it now.
Yeah.
Happy to do it now. Mine's probably going to be the shortest, to be fair. So.
Okay. So the guards come and collect you. You're one of the guards kind of gestures and takes a bottle from the bar, and they go with, and they go, bring your glass. You might want it.
Damn. Proper service.
Hey, look, we're not savages here in the court. As long as you can hold your liquor. At the end of the day, people say more than they mean to when they're drunk, so no complaints from us.
Yeah, that's fun. I've got 2 hands. I'm sure I can handle
it. Otherwise, travelling out of the bar and up to the main ground floor of the courthouse area, you travel through a number of the corridors before entering a kind of a small amphitheatre chamber. It's not as grand as an arena might be, but it's by no means like a small room. You could fit an audience of about 100 people in here if it were to be full in some fashion or another. But for the most part, you can see that there is a podium. There are several what look to be clerks down below that's currently just kind of scribing bits and pieces, different details and so on. And you can see sat above on what looks to be some form of raised area are what looks to be a number of dwarven leaders or representatives who are currently just kind of chatting amongst themselves during this time, and off to one side, as more of a typical courtroom vibe, there is what looks to be a jury of 7 individuals. All of them are dwarven and dwar in nature, as they're kind of leaning in their seats. A few of them have written things down. You can see that there's kind of a little tiki bar off to one side, and a few of them are kind of smoking in this moment. Several have pipes, others have cigarettes or cigars. And as you enter, there's kind of a general hush as you are gestured to approach the podium, where you can see that there is a glass holder. There's a few bottles underneath with what looks to be some form of liquor in, and there is an ashtray.
Oh, lovely. I knew I was coming then.
One of the clerks from below goes, just to confirm, your name is Beau?
Yeah, Mr. Cooper.
Beau Cooper, thank you. And you are the newest member of this group?
Yeah, you could say that. Might have been 2 days, 3 days.
They nods. There are a few kind of notes taken.
Yeah.
And you see a kind of a spokesperson stands and walks over, not necessarily a defendant or prosecutor by any means, but someone who is here to acquire the information, a adjudicator, if you will, or arbiter. You see that as they begin to approach, a large stone golem otherwise approaches from behind and just kind of stands next to you, kind of crouches, almost just watching and listening to the words you would say.
Okay.
The dwarf kind of puts his hands behind his back. So, Mr. Cooper, with the recent joining of this group, there isn't very much that you would know about this troop. So do you know why this court is being held?
I understand a situation may have happened that involved this group. I'm guessing you guys are just trying to get behind it, or an understanding of it.
Well, given that you were not directly involved, nor do you know the full details of this, you will not be held accountable of any of this at the end of the day. It's more of a formality to get everyone's opinion. Given that you probably won't be able to answer any of these questions fully, might I just ask if your opinion of the group thus far, and any experiences that you have had with them?
Well, I've only really been around them on one mission, I guess you could call, and that was accidental. I wasn't with them originally, but their intentions seemed good. We were basically, I was scouting out a circus, which turned out to be infested with demons. They were there for a different reason, but still didn't stand by and let the demons get away. So again, that shows to me that they are, in fact, good people.
And when this occurred, this demon circus, as you say, were they quick to act? Were they an aggressive lot? Were they defensive and asked questions? How would you say they handled the situation? In general, either towards you or to the demonic entities.
Well, they didn't show themselves as demonic straight away. And obviously the group, they were walking around searching things, asking questions. So they definitely weren't aggressive, I think is the right word. They were more reactive. Obviously I realised what they were quite quickly because it's my job. And they basically assisted me.
Very good. Do you have any idea what they were looking for?
I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know if it's true because it seems quite far-fetched, but some sort of a goose.
Intriguing. Do you know which one of their troop was looking for this goose? We'll ask them further questions.
I'm not 100% sure now.
Has anyone specified?
I do think that is true.
I do know. I do know that it takes a puff of a cigarette.
You do know. Okay. Go ahead and roll me a deception check, then, please.
Oh, here we go. That is a 5.
Okay.
Oh,
I choke on my cigarette. Yeah, don't know.
As you do this, the large stone golem just kind of looks at you, and the adjudicator in this instance turns around and goes, Mr. Cooper, if you would refrain from lying, we are aware that these are new individuals, so if you do not remember names, that is fine, but if you know of of which individual and you know their appearance, I would strongly advise you to provide it.
I think it's Kirv.
Thank
Seems pretty good at making goose noises, so.
There's just kind of some note-taking. Very good. Well, thank you, Mr. Cooper, for your time. And if there's anything that you wish to add, you may speak freely now, before you may go about your business and day.
Yeah, I just have a little thing to say. Obviously, my profession is hunting people down, more specifically demons. If what in fact this cat is imprisoning is a demon, I think putting her through bad situations and potentially imprisoning her, whatever your intentions are, it's only going to make things worse. I know that sounds bad, and, you know, I am just some random guy in theory that's walked in from the street. I appreciate that, but I think agitating the prison is not your best course of action. Having dealt with these things from a very young age, they find it easier to take over bodies that aren't willing to fight back.
We appreciate your concern. Thank you for the advice. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check, if you will.
Oof. That's a little better. That's a 15.
15? Okay. You get the sense they take in that information and that note, kind of that note of information as as you explain this to them. You gather that this isn't a light matter, and they have done research on this sort of thing before. Is just the general vibe that you get. So where you say this, a few other individuals do nod, like they're like, we know, we understand, that sort of thing, and some others are like, okay, good to have the point reiterated by another individual. There's a general consensus that the words haven't fallen on deaf ears. At the same time, by the looks of it, a few of them have heard this, and it isn't the first time they've heard this.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Oh. Well, Beau will pick up 2 bottles of the alcohol and stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Give a little nod.
Yeah.
Just 2 whole bottles.
Yep,
Yeah.
2 whole bottles.
I love it.
The dwarves, the guards don't seem to have an issue with it.
Yeah.
One of them takes your glass, and on the way back, kind of taking you back to the bar, the guard kind of puts the glass out and almost wants to have a drink poured for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll call the barman and then pour my own drink.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the kind of the small meeting area, as Kirv and Romulus, you're sat there. You've kind of had this conversation. People have come and gone. What look to be individuals just going about cleaning rooms. You can see that there are various kind of attendants, and some of the spokesperson are kind of going to and from the kind of almost the clusters or neighborhood, like sections of rooms, and kind of coming and going. The guards just seem to be at attention all the time, and you see kind of wandering up from the from downstairs, you see Mortar kind of just trudging up the stairs, looking a little bit tired. Hey guys.
Oh, hello, Mortar. Are you doing all right? You look a little fatigued.
I didn't get all the answers I was looking for, and I was gonna take a bath. Are you two doing all right?
Mortar doesn't take baths. I'm kidding.
He's asking if others are all right. What's going on?
He has asked if you're all right before. I went through with Dan and had like a personality talk about Mortar. I'm not doing anything out of character.
Chris, I think you're doing a very good job, except for the bath thing.
Yeah, that's valid.
That's a wild choice, considering we know that the court thing is happening now. But can I do a self-insight check, Chris?
I would say, what are you looking for?
What I'm looking for is, am I in a am I aware enough of myself and what I am currently going through to realize that I should probably wait until after this court thing to talk to Mortar about Mortar's moment?
I will say you can roll if you would want to. I'm also going to say you set the DC for this as well.
I'm going to roll with advantage. A, because it's me, and B, because of
you have a
my
room for
insight
it.
with advantage thing. But I'm going to set the DC as a fairly solid 15.
Okay.
Could I possibly make this a bit easier?
If you wish to.
If Kirv sees that Romulus is about to go into some kind of big conversation, she's just going to put her hand on Romulus's arm to say, "Not right now."
Your choice, Chris. Do you want that to lower the DC, or do you want it to be a single dice reroll?
I'll say. Let's go with it lowers the DC down to 12 for this.
12. Okay. So I've got to roll real bad on 2 die. No.
No.
3 ones, but no. That with the 11, I'm with my plus, which is about 5.
Okay.
I'm just going to call it in. I will say, Kirv, you would definitely notice this, and it's up to entirely up to Mortar to determine whether they notice this. You've not seen Romulus look stressed about the court date at all. Like the face is absolutely calm. He's very, very calm. His hands are constantly whittling right now.
Aww.
There's just a pile of wood chips, and it's slowly growing.
Yeah, I've made little wooden versions of each of the group's like weapons.
Aww.
So like there's a scythe, there's some short swords, I've tried to do Mortar's gun. Unfortunately, it looks like I tried to do the first bit of Scorpion and then was kind of like the end of Vulture on the end. I was like, and then I've just kind of like tried. You can see that I definitely started with one and then tried to change to the other. So there's definitely like little bits of the others in there. It still looks like Scorpion, but there's like little bits where like, oh, I can see what that was supposed to be earlier.
Yeah.
And there's a Sidechania, and I'm currently working on Beau's. Are they revolvers?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like standard Western revolvers, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm working on the revolvers currently. It should be noted, I haven't. It's up to you, Chris, whether the Sidechania chain is like dangly or if it's like a sculpture.
I'll say I don't know which will be easier, so I'll probably say a sculpture will presumably be easier because it's one solid
Let's go for that.
piece. So we'll go for that.
Fair. Cool.
Mortar, you just let me know if you need any more healing, all right?
I'll be fine. But thank you. He wanders off to his room.
So, what have you been whittling, Romulus? Hello?
There's silence.
Trying to comprehend everything.
Yep. Or he's switching from wireless headset to regular if he's got his food now.
Oh, apologies. Hello.
Hello.
I have been whittling the various weapons of the group. Something to keep my hands busy. I'm just going to slide over the little scythe one.
And she, did you pass it to her?
Yeah, I slide it over to you.
Ah, okay. She, picks it up and she looks around and there is a sudden shift to this, childlike wonder. She's like, shit, how did you do that?
Oh, well, you need to take each of the tools and use them for their individual purpose. I started out with just a little board of wood. Just started carving out the rough shape of it, and then you just sort of chip away until you get to the image underneath. Here, I'm currently working on Beau's revolvers. Here. So I've got this bit here. I'm doing them sort of next to each other, so it's sort of like in a rectangular shape overall, but I'm carving them out of it, and then I'm going to have the head of this one connect to the butt of this one, and vice versa. And it's just a matter of slowly picking it out piece by piece.
I'll say Kirv is only half paying attention to what you're saying and Beau's weapon, and she is just fixated on the scythe.
Oh, I've just realized I need to make you 2 scythes so you can give them to Filch and Eugene.
Oh. Well, actually, okay, Kirv was
That's
going to say
dangerous.
this. I can I buy this from you, Romulus? Let me buy this from you.
All right. Well, 1 copper piece.
1 copper piece.
Mm-hmm.
Kirv gives you 2 copper pieces.
And here's your change, and I hand you back 2 copper pieces.
Don't make me owe you.
You don't owe me anything. I was going to give these to you anyway. Everyone. Just, It goes back to whittling awkwardly like the old man he is.
Kirv is like still admiring the scythe as she heads downstairs, and she's gonna linger by like the window, just on the off chance that the whole mail thing with the Lord of Crows turns up.
You need to be nearby to a tree, and you're currently
Is that the
underground in a dwarven city.
Oh wow.
There are no trees.
Okay,
there.
then she does not. Obviously my brain was not fathoming that bit.
No, it's alright.
Well, then they'll just have to wait till after the case. So she just lingers around looking at the scythe.
Okay.
And more stress whittling is happening in the background. The pile is getting significantly larger.
Mortar otherwise exits his room, and you can see that he's kind of dried his hair as much as he cares to, but has otherwise put his goggles back on and mask back up, and just kind of comes down and sits at the table with all of you.
I think awkward old man is just going to slide over the what was the scorpion with little bits of vulture in it over to.
Oh, cool.
Is
kind of turns it over in his hands. You did this?
Yes, I needed to do something with my hands and thought, well, might be nice to have a couple little trinkets around.
Did you want anything for it?
No, it's a gift.
Why?
Because you're part of the team. I am aware that we do not, we clash at times. That does not stop me from considering you part of the team, the family. So, goes back to whittling.
He
Very much awkward old man vibes.
He leans forward, as if like looking deep into the weapon. Kind of just slowly turning it in his fingers.
I started out trying to do vulture, but I'll be honest, I don't see it all that often, so I managed to make it look like scorpion. Hope you don't mind.
No, it's great. I like it.
Would you like a drink?
What you got?
Well, we're in a dwarven we're in a dwarven town, so I have picked up some. I'm trying to remember what you called it. Dragon ale.
Dragon ale is, yes, the standard stuff you can get.
Now, they've got this type of dragon ale here that's called Earth Drake Brew, and apparently it's supposed to be twice as strong as the normal stuff. I've heard it described as tastes like rock milk going down. I don't know what that means, but I want to find out.
Sure. It sounds positively... I was going to say delightful, but I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
Well, let's give it a go. and I'm just going to break open a bottle
Mhm.
and pour out a glass for each of us.
Mhm.
Like a half measure of the drink, not like a full pint.
Right, con saves. Mortar got a 16. It's like, oh,
Boy,
this is... Oh, the dwarves certainly know how to make their liquor. Yeah, this was ale.
I only got a 16 as well.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. It's not going to make you intoxicated, but it's... As it travels down your throat, it feels... It kind of feels like that's... Like the silky nature that milk has. It's kind of a slightly... I wouldn't say viscous, but... Because if milk is viscous, it's off.
It's like
But-
Dwarven Baileys.
Yeah, it's Dwarven Baileys. We'll go with that. But there is kind of that little bit of almost like a gritty texture to little bits of it that kind of almost scratch a little bit on the inside of the throat, but not enough to like do any damage by any means or have any lasting effect. But it kind of has that texture of almost like you're eating sand.
I'm gonna like down it all in one, and obviously yell out mineshaft in Dwarven, which is one of the many things you're supposed to say after downing a drink in Dwarven culture.
Mortar does the same.
And then goes, I can still feel it in my teeth. I do get what they mean, though. Now it does
Yeah.
make sense.
Reminds me of home.
You don't talk much about your home. What's it like?
Sandy.
Mm.
There's not much to see, really. It's just a desert of black sand. That's why I don't talk much about it. It's kind of boring.
No, well, I don't think deserts are boring. I think, well, everything that lives in a desert works to live there. They try, and I think there's something nice about that. The fact that everything there puts in effort, tries, and is working and striving constantly, day by day. As much as, a lot of the time you wish they didn't have to, there's something noble about it.
Maybe. It's one way to look at it.
I also like the tribes. Coming from a tribe myself, it just makes sense to me to live that way.
And there's almost a distant
No
look
one-
to Mortar.
I actually went through the desert fairly recently. Picked up a few herbs and spices from there. I don't suppose you've got any particular dishes you've wanted to try from home that I could give a go?
No. You were given... Anything I ever ate while I was there was scraps. Never really had any nice food.
It's a shame. I'm sorry. And
Yeah, it's all in the
just wasn't
past
enough to
now.
make. Goes back to whittling, but this time just slowly. Yeah. Just to check, has anything in this conversation do you think would have twigged anything to Romulus beyond the fact of it going smoothly so far?
I would say the only thing which I would say is insight, and I'm going to say this would be with disadvantage, so flat roll for you because you naturally have advantage, would be that he has opened up slightly more than you're used to. Like, there was a
Especially after our last.
Yeah, there was a sudden, like, spike of talking about his past, which is very unusual.
That is a 20, non-natural.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, that's only a 9 on my end. There is a sense of, I would say with an insight, you don't necessarily feel like he's being weird by any means, but there is a sense of he's more connected in this moment, and he feels... You can tell that there is a sense of sentiment to this, and there's almost a layer of... that Mortar is... that whatever Mortar has potentially discovered today has potentially opened up old wounds and old memories and such. And with that insight, you can tell that there is an ill-fated nostalgia to him in this moment. But you can also tell that he seems calmer than he has been recently. So, bittersweet.
You seem a bit melancholic. Find something you weren't, or well, find something you weren't looking for, or something you were.
I found something. It just asked more questions than it answered. Every time I get close to finding something, it always seems to lead to there being more steps that I'm not aware of. Like, the thing that inhabits this gun, whatever it is, it's not just beholden to one god. There's several, all with their different affiliations with this.
These are the ones, the what do you call them? The ones from the atrocities,
No, actually.
No?
None of them were involved in the atrocities, from what the guy said.
Oh, okay.
He mentioned that all of them were ones that didn't get involved with the atrocities, that they're pantheonless.
So, wandering god, loose ones, basically. Or
Yeah.
individuals from smaller areas, maybe.
But he said that this was a precursor of some form, an artifact that belonged to them, as if they'd gotten involved in the war. But it... but he couldn't figure out what all the symbols were akin to. And...
Can I have a look at the symbols? If the gun's out.
What is your religion?
My religion would have been whatever is going on in the Beastlands generally.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know what that would be.
So the religion,
however, I
the
do
religion
feel
stats,
like it probably goes back. Oh, my religion. Right, sorry.
No, that's fine. I realised what. Yeah.
A 1, a +1 to religion.
Even with a natural 20, which would result in a 26, you still wouldn't be able to beat the DC.
I'm not wanting to look at this as a religion thing.
Okay.
When, can I see the gun currently?
Yes, you can. Go ahead and make me a... Because you won't be able to use investigation for this to get a close look, this would be a perception.
Okay. I can do perception. I can. If there's any chance, I would also like to put forward Arcana, because I'm going to be looking at these symbols that are on this gun, and I'm going to be seeing if there's any correlation to how my runes work.
Okay. I'll say Arcana's fine, yeah.
I will say I'm shooting myself in the foot with this because I'm actually worse at Arcana, but I think it'll provide more interesting information.
That's fair.
1 plus 1, so
Plus
1's 8.
Looking at this, runes are fairly new to you, and runes seem to be quite simple in nature. You know what an enchantment looks like, though. You carry several with you, for example, and as you've looked over and examined Stagger before, just to kind of see what kind of enchantment it looks like, and it's a very beautiful weapon. You then look at what Mortar's weapon has, and the glyph work is entirely different. And you don't entirely understand the full details of it. This is more Cat's expertise. But you know that Cat has mentioned, like, there are different types of magic. Ones that come from divine power, some that come from almost the arcane. And you know that yours, for example, come from what would typically be known as calligraphy. The art of writing a word, and it imbues power into something. And that would probably be the extent that you understand. Looking at Mortar's weapon, you cannot make heads or tails what it might be. You know that it's just not runes.
Do you think the symbols give it make the gun, or are they just, well, decoration or information?
I don't know. If they're... I presume they serve a purpose like any other magical item. But I couldn't tell you what that is. I'm not that used to magic in that manner.
Well, you seem to use it fairly well.
Mm.
I'm just gonna like rub my head where I remember getting shot with a psychic bullet.
Yeah. Maybe. But I don't know, I feel like that's more the gifts this thing gives me. I understand how to use them, much like you understand how to walk or use your horns or swing your weapon. It's an understanding that you pick up, sometimes out of nowhere, sometimes with practice. To necessarily understand.
Instinctual.
Instinctual, exactly.
Well, if you ever feel like it's more the gun than it is you, maybe try. Are you able to use other weapons,
I am.
or is it
And
one of those jealous ones?
he pulls out the stalker blades and
Of course.
goes, I have others. They're just not as good. They're useful in a pinch if I end up in a close quarters environment, but most of the time this just lets me get away. So I'm not too fussed with it, really.
Well, just if you ever feel like instinct isn't cutting it, it might be worth practicing with another gun. Maybe ask Beau. See if you can't borrow his for a bit and practice that way. That way you've got instinct and practice on your side.
Maybe.
Or something like that.
I've learnt to use it for a while now, several years, but it's strange. Using...
It is.
Strange learning and then having it change all of a sudden.
So it didn't always change.
No. Only after destroying the beads when we were in Zaka's.
Interesting. And then, of course, there was that whole thing with the other one.
And there's almost a pause. So they're going to insight what you mean.
Any chance of an insight check?
Here, back.
They got a dirty 20, so I'm going to say in this instance... You mean Snap?
I believe that's its name. I don't want to really ascribe anything to it that I don't know for certain. But yes, I presume so.
I've been trying to call upon Snap and just try and understand a bit better what they are, or how I can potentially use their power, or just get an understanding of it, but it feels like a part
Romulus
of
is gonna like
myself.
take a deep breath in, and then just let it out, like a little sigh. Okay. Please continue.
You want to say something?
That feels like a dangerous thing to be messing with. And I think it would be beneficial, much like when Cat interferes with the creature, if you told us that you were doing that before trying it out. I'm certain you are capable, but it would make me feel better to know that if something could go wrong, we would at least know about it and be able to help.
I don't always know about it myself is the problem. Like, I'll reach out and they'll say no. Is the cost an arm and a leg? And he kind of lifts his prosthetics.
I don't know what the cost is, but I feel a limb or two is a pretty steep price to pay. If this thing is anything like Cat's creature, and I'm not saying that this snap is necessarily malevolent or destructive, although it certainly seems dangerous.
He nods at that.
But if it is anything like Cat's creature, desperation is when their offers are made.
Yeah.
When you feel that you are in danger, when you are scared, when you are angry, those are the kinds of opportunities that they will take advantage of.
That's why I'm trying to bring it to me on my terms. To be able to understand what it is it might want. Or if it is just a part of me. I mean, we went into Vinny's mind and saw this strange creature that lived in there. Cat's got multiple souls trapped within the creature. I mean, I was there taking shots at it, past this strange barrier. It's... I don't know, it might just be coincidental, but it feels like maybe I can try and tap into that power. And I've tried and failed several times.
When Cat managed to get her parents' souls back and managed to succeed in dealing with the creature, she wasn't alone.
That's thanks to us as well.
If it would help, maybe we can be there with you as you try and get in contact. Maybe more voices calling would be more likely to work. You know, do the whole going into people's heads thing again, which was a very strange experience. Alongside that, might be worth finding the calm within the storm. You know, the thing that allowed Cat to deal with the creature, both this time and the last time she managed to resolve it peacefully, wasn't that she was not scared, and it wasn't that she was not fearful. It was the fact that in spite of that, she could remain calm and make judgment reasonably. I don't know. I think, well, you seem very calm today. Maybe you're getting there on your own.
I look calm.
You certainly seem it. But I suppose appearances can be deceiving.
Gives a little chuckle at that.
I think the conversation winds down a bit, but things have gone very, very calmly, and there was that little moment, that little hesitation around Snap, which could be for any number of reasons. But is there any chance I could give Insight another attempt?
I'll allow another insight. Again, it will be it will have the disadvantage on it, so it'll be a single roll.
Flat roll.
Yeah.
That's a 16.
It's a 25 on my part.
Incredible.
Whether that be persuasion
And
or
Romulus
perception.
goes about his
or
day.
persuasion or deception. You don't know.
Fair.
But yeah. You don't necessarily something has happened to Mortar. There's a lot that he's obviously explained things with the kind of picking up on the religious information, the more questions than answers. There's a lot swirling around, and you guess right now his anger might be more tempered to a particular question or an answer that he wasn't expecting. I'd say with the insight you pick up that there might be things that he's hiding, but you don't necessarily suspect them that it's not Mortar. It's that there are things he doesn't want to say yet. Speaking of, Cat and Vinny, after your escapades and errands, going and collecting various bits and pieces from the various shops around town, you meet back up and you come back to here, where you see Mortar, Romulus, and Kirv currently waiting and sitting, and you can see Beau is currently sat downstairs at the bar.
Oh. Right, everyone's here at the moment. Perfect. I have snacks for everyone.
Ooh. Go
How's
on then, what
everyone?
have you got?
These are Miner's Delights. They're little pastries. They've got different flavoured fillings in them. Everyone come take a pick.
Don't suppose any of them have pickle in.
I just asked for a selection, but I don't think that was one of the options.
Well, I guess I have to take a bite of all of them.
I'm going to very quickly pick one to be mine.
All right, but if it's got pickle in it, you give that one to me.
Mortar otherwise just kind of sits there and looks up at them. And almost seems to just wait his turn.
Well, that's going on the list. Someone write that.
Mortar
Waits his turn.
Waits patiently. Ooh.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll roll real quick, and then I'm going to ask. Oh no, never mind. That's a natural 20. He's he looks like he's sulking to a certain degree. So you pick up the fact that he doesn't seem to be in the energetic mood to get up and go get a snack. So it doesn't pique anyone's interest.
Okay. Cat sort of looks up from a book temporarily. See, since she's coming, she's very distracted. Like, there's a lot she's trying to sort through. Looks at.
Very
Oh,
fair.
Fair. Okay, thank you. Take one. I'm gonna break it into 3, and then I'm going to give some to my granddad, some to her.
Okay. Just as a general note, the sweet treat is basically, think of it. Easy way to think about it. You remember the dough balls in Monster Hunter Wilds that you get when you go to for the benefits, for like the
Very good.
the hunt buffs. It's basically those,
Yeah.
but it's more of a baked bread pastry. So you get the 3 different colours, and they're all kind of baked together in a lattice shape. But there's a skewer through to hold it so that once you bite one bit off, the others don't just fall away.
Cool. I'm removing the skew and I'm going to separate the 3.
Okay. Okay. So you go and find Theomar and Hearn?
They were with me because
That's right, yeah.
we all went.
You
we
all
all
went
to the
as a...
thing, so they-
Yeah. You all went as a group and then went from there. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yep.
Okay. Alright.
Theomar heads over to Mortar after you give him this treat. They have a few words. If anyone wishes to listen in, you may do so.
Yep.
What do you mean, yep? Why are you
For
so
sure.
Why are you so suspicious?
I'm not suspicious. I would say that Kirv is worried that Mortar looks mopey, and if anything, if a conversation goes bad, she wants to be around. She's not suspicious. She's worried.
Yeah, I think I'd also. Kat wants to try and talk to her granddad, but she doesn't want to interrupt the conversation, so she's going to watch for
Okay.
the conversation to end.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I've been out for Mortar's possession arc thus far, and I was away for the fight. So, as far as I know, the only suspicious thing Mortar has done so far is threaten to kill that guy. And as far as I know, he had it coming.
Fair. So, Theomar otherwise approaches Mortar. I'd say during this time you also bring over the snack for Mortar as well, as Mortar kind of takes it and he kind of sits there and takes a bite out of it as Theomar just begins the conversation. Great, I'm peeing between myself. Wonderful.
You got this.
So, what information did you get from him? Well, nothing much. He could answer a lot of the questions that I had, but they just led to more questions, really. And no idea what gods... Well, I don't know what god is tied to this, and I know that there are lots of gods that are potentially interested in this. The different forms have different symbols, that they're potentially very dangerous, but none of them are tied to a good or a bad pantheon at all, just that they're dangerous. He asked me for a few of my experiences, like getting the weapon and stuff, and I left him to his research. He'd drawn each of the symbols and stuff and went from there, and I just left him to it. He said he'd be back in contact if he discovered anything. You see Theomar nods. Well, hopefully you get some answers for that thing. Where's Castor? Oh, I told him I'd make my own way back and that he could wander around and do what he wanted. I needed some alone time to kind of mull over some of the questions, and I didn't really want to snap at him. Fair enough. Well, I'm glad you at least got some answers. And Theomar kind of stands back up, looks to you, Ellie, and just goes, if anyone wants to talk, I'll be in my room. Feel free to knock and come in.
Well,
It'll be a mention.
one sec. I've got some questions that Romulus might like to answer for, or the answer for. They're just a couple of things
All right.
first. Right. I'm gonna ask him, then I'll ask. So I've got to work out what ones I'm asking out here. How to fix this? Oh no, they can do that with Ma. Ask him that. Okay, so start with. I'm going to ask about the C with the scroll in the middle. Professor's benefactor. Who were they? Like, does he recognize this symbol?
Roll this with advantage. That's... yeah. Okay. That's a... Just going to double check my math on this. That is a 37.
Huh?
Look, expertise plus high intelligence. That symbol's for the Bloodlords, more specifically the Blood Scholars, a group of vampire lords who live west of the Alliance capital. They live high in the mountains. They're a dangerous lot, and they send troops to attack Zekas.
Okay. Look over at Romulus. So, we know who's funding Professor then?
They live in the mountains north of Felder, near the massive mountain lake up there. Okay. All right. We've known about them, but nobody's ever gone to deal with them. They have several fortresses up there, several vampiric individuals who otherwise look over the place and are generally very skilled and dangerous in a lot of ways. If you're looking for any information on them, it might be worth seeing if you can get in contact with the Lantern Keepers in Zekas. They usually have some scouting information on them, not far from Maruk. Otherwise, if you're looking to get there any time, whether that's to try and overcome them or get information from them, go to Felder, and that will be your best bet. But otherwise, how? You said Professor. That's one of Romulus's sisters.
Yeah, so did you know about the encampment that was near Fargnuk, where they were taking people from the town? They were hiring mercenaries to protect the town.
I heard of the incident, yes. I also heard that it was resolved once I found out
Yeah,
that it
we
was
were the ones that
you all that did
resolved it. And the leader of that camp, as far as we're aware, was Professor. And we found a letter, and after listening to the thing, I don't actually know who has the letter anymore. But there was a letter that has that symbol, and yeah, they were wanting results, and I'm assuming that it's attached to her experimentation. So I think they were funding that camp.
Wouldn't surprise me. If it's got something to do with... If it's got anything to do with blood in one way or another, or potentially dealing significant damage to any of the trade routes, then that would make sense. Fargnuk is a trade-centric settlement, along with Canlis as well.
Well, we did find blood crystals there. On that note, we've been finding suspicious amount of blood crystals. We visited the Starsight camp for a little while, rescued someone while we were there, and we come across 3 Cyclops that were also growing blood crystals on people and creatures, 2 harpies. They were trying to grow for... We didn't get much of a description, but apparently a powerful woman wearing a red flowing dress who was in charge.
That could be an amounting to anyone, but...
Yeah,
Cyclopses typically aren't the most intelligent when it comes to these things. Knowing the understandings and the details of growing blood crystals is certainly different. You said this was off of the Starsight camp. Where would that be?
Now, if I recall correctly, it was north of the Starsight camp, because we were going up, weren't we?
Northwest.
This is out. So, it was northwest of the Starsight camp. There's a pillar. We found the pillar and then progressed to...
On tabletop, you
continue to
actually
follow
have the
the
map
tracks.
of nearby to it. It's
Very
here-ish. So actually,
Okay, so
it's quite close to Gomuldur, where
Oh,
you
okay.
are currently.
So it was between... Basically, it was between here and the Starsight camp in the mountain range.
Ha. Okay.
they had a tree that was covered in smaller crystals, and then the person we rescued was covered in larger crystals. And Vinny also contracted it, but we managed to resolve it when we got back.
Contracted it? Like a
They
disease?
started growing on him. I think he got maybe too close to the tree. I don't know. It was kind of a bit chaotic. A giant spike skewered Romulus. It was.
I remember the spike
fast-paced.
skewering Romulus. I remember watching that.
Oh,
Sorry,
very nice.
I've been scrying on you for some time.
So,
I remember
just to
seeing
confirm,
that.
I got completely skewered by a not inconsiderable. I still got the cough from it. A not inconsiderable pillar of. Was it stone or wood? I think
It
wood.
was a wooden stake which they had jammed a skull over the top of it.
I'm just saying, you could have sent a get well soon card.
As a general note, I've been trying not to get involved with the details regarding Cat's developments. You seemed to believe that the moment that I came back, I was going to take you under my wing once more and remove you from the group. This was going to be the case were it not for a few interested parties. I'm not in obligation to divulge their names, but let's just say that they said it was best that you learn to control the creature in a trial by fire, as opposed to being coddled.
Was Taskot one of them? I know you
No.
had her research the ruins.
No. As I said, I'm not going to be able to repeat their names without potentially violating our agreement, but they've been keeping a close eye on you in case things go poorly.
Okay. Unsettling, but okay. But yeah, so a bachelor fee. There's quite a lot of blood crystal going around. Professor had some. There was some in the mountains being grown by Cyclops. Like, I don't know if they're related. I have no idea.
If they are, it could be very dangerous. Be something worth looking into, I'll say.
Okay.
How
On top of
are,
that. Oh yeah, go on.
sorry, out of interest, how are blood crystals normally grown? Not like the details or anything. I'm not looking to grow my own, but
Blood crystals require a dead creature to grow. They grow out of corpses, usually sucking whatever remaining nutrients are in them out. They don't grow in live creatures. They shouldn't.
yeah, I don't think that's true anymore.
Which is concerning.
Well, they were growing out of the person that we were there to rescue. When I got a bit too close, it seemed like they tried to infect me, but they didn't take for whatever reason. Nothing really came of it.
Interesting. I'll see if I can locate this place on your map. I'll try and get what information I can, and we'll see what goes from there. In the event that this does devolve into a bit more madness, are you all interested, after the court case is resolved, if you would want to undertake this investigation, if I find any leads? It'll be more for a personal vendetta and the act of doing something good. You would probably get supplied for it, but I can't guarantee there would be any reward.
I mean, I haven't got a problem with it, but I'm also aware that we have timelines and a lot of things we do need to do.
That is fair.
I'm kind of in the same boat. especially given that we have been involved with it now, I would quite like to see it through. But I don't think this is fate of the world level stuff. So I'd like to
Understood.
help get Cat's situation a bit more under control before prioritizing something like that.
Understood. Maybe for a one-shot after the campaign's over, perhaps.
That sounds like a nice idea.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, anyway.
Perfect.
Themar's nose bleeds a little bit. Oh, I got too close to the gun.
Okay. I'm going to. How much space is in this area?
Where you are?
Where we are, yeah.
I mean, there's enough room for like 4 sofas, a main table in the center, and it then leads off to each of your doors. So I'd say it's like maybe 15-foot diameter, maybe 20-foot diameter.
Okay. Is there enough room to summon elementals and Trellidex?
No.
Okay. Very good.
One or the other, yes.
Then. What's the elementals? Right, okay. Then in that case, I will hand over my gems to my granddad. It's like, are you able to bring these out? It takes a lot of concentration, but I just need to talk to them for a second.
It'll be better if we do that in the mansion. I can make plenty of room for in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot he has a. Yeah, valid. Okay, then that's pretty much what I've got. Oh, one last thing. So while we were at the Skull Site camp, a creature come out of the cave. Could be a leader. It could tie back to the people you'd mentioned earlier on, the Bloodlords. But there was a guy. I didn't get a very clear sight of him, riding a black, very large bird. It was the first time that both the creature and Cychania reacted. Like, they've never reacted that way since, and they've not reacted that way again, like, before. I have no idea what that was, but that also headed north, up the mountain, I believe.
Creature and a person on its back?
Mm-hmm. That's like a giant black bird.
Can't say I'm familiar.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Well, that's all of that. There's a couple of things I'd like to talk to you in private, if that's okay.
Of course. Anything else anyone wants to discuss? And thank you, Vinny, for the food. It's very good.
Oh, that's quite alright. Well, I think we've been through almost everything in terms of the trial. It's just waiting to get asked now.
Well then. In such a case, if you all know where to find me. And he heads into his room.
I'm gonna follow him.
Okay. Mortar kind of finishes his food, just kind of sat there on one of the sofas still.
Okay, I suppose Kirv sits next to Mortar.
Okay.
Are you sure there's nothing else you want to talk about, mate?
No.
I'll leave you to it.
If anyone
She
wants
sort of
to,
asks as a question.
if anyone wants to make an insight on that.
Why not?
Oh, 1,000%. Still with disadvantage, or
Oh no! This will just be a flat roll.
Stellar performance, Chris.
to quote Taylor Swift, "I don't know about you, but I am indeed feeling 22."
Oh,
No.
dear gosh.
I got an 18.
Okay, and Vinny?
I was looking at the wrong thing. That's a 24.
Ooh.
Nice. Romulus and Kirv. You've seen him in this situation a bit more kind of subdued with these questions that he's had, with these answers that he's repeated a few times now. One to you guys, once to Theomar, and one unbeknownst to you to Beau below. But as he's kind of sat there, Kirv and Romulus, you otherwise kind of go, yeah, okay. He's got a lot going on. He doesn't want to talk about it right now. That's okay. You didn't beat his DC. But Vinny, with a 24, in the situation where meets it, beats it, you
Fucking hell.
look at Mortar, and there's a moment of your thinking, like, you haven't been around Mortar while all this trouble has been going on. You came back, he waited for his food, you gave it to him, he seems to be moping a little bit. Something is bothering him. Something is bothering him that seems to be weighing him down, and for some reason he doesn't want to talk about it. You can either force the issue knowing this information, you can handle it tactfully or any way that you may see fit, or you can let it go. He's hiding something. You don't get any hint that it's not Mortar, you just get the belief that there's something that's bothering him, but he, for some reason, doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I have no context for what the nature of the problem is necessarily, but Mortar passing up an opportunity to whine about his problems, very suspicious.
Fuck, savage.
Yeah, just Mortal getting constantly dragged this entire session.
It's alright, Dan. I've done my best.
Man, it would suck
Joke's
if
on
Dan
you.
was listening.
Joke's on you, you guys. You've just given me one more thing to whine about.
As if you needed another.
Damn.
You're damn right. Okay, all right. Shots fired right now in real life. Let's freaking go.
Right, the
And I
sandpit arena
guarantee
is
you-
being created. Hang
Yeah, I
on.
was gonna say, I guarantee you, the fight will end the same way it did between our characters.
So, Vinny, you have that little tidbit of insight.
I knew where Mortar was going, right? Going to get the
Going to get the answers, yeah.
gun looked at? Yeah. Alright, as Kirv moves away, I'm going to go and sit down on like the other side of him. So, that badly, huh?
He looks at you. I guess I'll just repeat what I've said to everybody. More questions than answers.
Okay, I'm back.
Mm-hmm. I can see why you'd be upset about that, but isn't that a good thing? At least in the long term.
Maybe.
Gives you more leads to follow up on.
So hard getting to these leads, getting any information about this, and even then I didn't get full answers, it was just cryptic. I didn't learn much, if anything at all. And it was all just so complicated. Pantheonless gods, multiple gods that otherwise look over this gun, not really knowing what to make of it all. I don't know.
I have to say, and don't take this as an insult, but this is the most defeated I've ever seen you. And I've seen you literally dead, so that's,
Fucking hell.
There's almost a little bit of a chuckle. I suppose that's true. I don't know, just information isn't my strong suit. All this study, and how can people not have the answers when they spend so long researching this stuff? It's just frustrating. Like, I've been frustrated before. Like, I've been annoyed with, like, the way some of you all look at me, or... He kind of holds his tongue a bit more in that moment as he says that, almost regretting it. It's complicated.
okay, making up a mental note of that. But, well, at least as far as information goes, I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I'm not the most studious. I leave that to other people. But that's no reason to give up. If whatever egghead you went to see here didn't pan out, we'll go find another. We can go together if you like.
Yeah. Yeah, next time, let's do that. Maybe there are things that you'll understand that I won't.
Well, okay, let's not go crazy here, but I'm happy to try and help if I can.
Thank you. I'm gonna head to bed unless they call upon me. If any of you want to talk, just knock on my door, I guess. He kind of stands.
Any chance of one last insight check after just looking back on this whole conversation?
Make me 2 insight checks. First one will be with disadvantage. The second one will also be with disadvantage.
Okay, so I'll just roll 2 dice.
Yes.
That is a 17 and a 15.
Okay. 17. Mortar is beaten down. For one reason or another, you understand, you get it. You feel almost, strangely enough, slightly guilty. Almost, but it's an irrational thought, and you kind of push that away. With the second insight, would a 17 prompt you to have a discussion with Mortar, or do you think you'd keep your level head still and not bring it up with him yet?
I think that Romulus's priorities have always been what they are, and that is, at this point in time, cat. So I think still going to, before trying to get into things, going to wait until after we've spoken with the core.
Okay.
Because I think that would be a bad energy to put on things.
Yep, that's fair.
Depending on how things go.
Okay.
And as much as I may want to, talk to Mortar, try and clear the air a little bit, and work on things, I can't run the risk of putting Cat in danger. So I'd rather go through the messy stuff afterwards.
Okay. Okay, so Mortar heads to his room. He opens the door and heads inside. For Mortar, in this instance, you watch from your perch. You wander into your room. You see a thumb run over the carving of Black Scorpion and Iron Vulture, kind of the two of them put together that Romulus has done for you. As the thumb runs over it, kind of inspecting it in the detail of it. It's rough, but it's good work still. As you go and sit on your bed, It's been interesting. You have good friends. We have good friends.
Yeah, I suppose we do.
I'll let you get some rest. You can work through the stress on your own. And you feel the heavy weight of your body as it returns to you as you collapse backwards, looking at the ceiling.
Mortar kind of takes his goggles and mask off, kind of throws them on his bed, and like while he's laying down, he just kind of rubs his eyes, feels really tired. He has, I think he doesn't realize kind of just how hard this is all kind of hit him. The memory of kind of what Kirv and Romulus were speaking to him about is kind of hazy. Like he kind of caught like maybe bits and pieces of it, but like a part of him's like, I kind of want to know what they said, and like, I kind of want to experience what he experienced. But he's like, nah, I don't think I deserve that memory. And I think he has a bit of a moment of self-reflection where he tries to, for once, get over his impulsiveness and his kind of impudence and his almost self-obsessed nature in assuming that everyone is against him. And I think he tries to center himself and tries to find the root of the issue. And I think he just kind of buries himself in self-reflection, not out of the sense of trying to find a way to make almost pity, like, to generate pity, but like in a way to, he can go, okay, yeah, like, I feel like this has got to stop. Like, hell, the other me did a better job of being me than I could. I mean, what does that say about me? And I think he takes a good long he kind of stands up, removes his armor, kind of strips down and goes into the bathroom and looks at himself in the mirror, just head to toe, just slumped. He looks tired, he looks battered and beaten, and he just kind of sighs and then begins to wash his face and begins to wash his hair. And I think he does that in the sink, and then he just runs himself a cold bath, like as cold as he can make it, and he wants himself to feel every like freezing step into this thing, just to really like solidify. It's like you need to wake up, and whatever penance you got to put yourself through, you got to do that, because this shit can't continue. These people have stuck their neck out for you. Sure, you disagree with them. Sure, you butt heads. Sure, you're not the most. You're not the most easy person to work with. you're impulsive, you're rash. And another part of him's like, well, that's who I am. They have to deal with that because that's who I choose to be. That's who I've always been. He finds himself almost feeling sorry for that part of him that still believes that he can get away with believing that shit with the level of severity that things have gotten to between him and certain members of the party. And I think he just kind of sinks below his shoulders, allowing the water to kind of go up just below his nose. And he just closes his eyes and enters just this self-reflective kind of stage. Just no weapon nearby, no inner thoughts, like trying to talk to him, manipulate him. Just him taking a deep dive into why is Mortar less than who is Mortar.
Okay. I think that would be a good point for us to take our break.
Oh, damn.
Second
Yeah,
bath.
welcome.
Second
I was
back,
gonna
bar.
say, hygienic. It should be like a new buzzword for something's wrong with Mortar. Yeah.
Oh, he's being hygienic.
Yeah, he's had a.
Oh no.
This is his second bath in the last 3 hours.
Yeah, guys.
Oh.
Yeah, guys.
Then again,
he's gonna be pruny.
the first one was to keep.
Oh,
Yeah, the
that's very
first one
true,
was
Loretta.
the first one was to keep him clean. The second one was to apparently punish him. So
Yeah, that did straight up sound like
Nothing
torture.
worse. Nothing worse than giving
Deeply
he's like a
unhealthy.
cat. Yes, deeply unhealthy, but he's a deeply unhealthy person, unfortunately. At this present moment, he doesn't really know what to do with himself because he's in a bad way.
We're gonna get a journey of healing.
Yay!
maybe.
Yay!
Yes,
Maybe, we'll see.
Chris. Healing.
If Mortar wants a journey of healing, Mortar will get a journey of healing. If
Yep.
Mortar doesn't want a journey of healing, then what happens is the consequences of that choice.
Those will be then be the consequences of his actions. Okay, so we're back here in just a mo. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to go and refill my water bottles.
Can I go somewhere?
Where do you want to go?
Toilet.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm saying it to the audience to not go anywhere.
I wish
Thanks,
you
DM.
the best of luck,
You're welcome.
both
Right.
of you. May your journeys reach their destination, and may you find safe return.
I hope so.
Though
I'm
you
just going to get
traverse
water from
into
the kitchen.
darkness, into the depths, into the faraway places, I hope you shall
May-
return.
Yeah, down the
May
stairs.
your pee not find your way into his drink.
Oh,
Amen.
May the devil
Okay.
not be
Right,
a complete
I'm gonna go-
penis.
I'm going to go and get my drink. So, be right back. See you all back here in a moment, where we will then get to either
Everyone.
Kat talking to Theamar, or I will abduct one of the party members to interrogate you. Right, be back in a moment.
Oh, I can't wait to
Why?
be abducted.
Be right back.
oh my god. I have so
Yabby.
many more questions to ask him. Damn. milkshake, milkshake, yeah. I've gonna go a milkshake, yeah. Action. Hit you when the front door opens. Why would I want to?
I am back.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Alright. Should we start with Cat and Theamar then?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Alright. Just a quick roll call so I know who to expect. Oh, well. Rebecca's muted.
I think it's just us three.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
The three of us.
It's alright. So, you enter into your grandfather's mansion. You wander in, you can see Hearn takes up his position, and you can see Castor's otherwise sat at the back of the room, seemingly just playing cards with himself. Theamar wanders in, and he holds the gemstones there, and in this moment you watch as he concentrates, and you feel almost a shake within the room as it begins to expand. You see Castor and his card game is almost slightly picked up and pushed back further to the back of the room as the room is made larger. And as this happens, the center area turns into sand once again, very much the fighting pit version of this, as he concentrates, and you watch as Terrador emerges from the stone from the sand, and Treladex otherwise materializes and lands on the sand itself.
So Terrador was already out. It's Roni and Cinder that I wanted to bring out on Treladex. I can concentrate on Treladex,
Okay.
but I can't bring out the other two.
Oh,
But
I
him
see.
being
That's
High level,
what
I
the
thought
situation.
maybe-
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so in which case then he will do that, and he will use his terracotta army to summon your two, as Cinder and Roni will come out.
Right, the cat will look over them all. Like, thank you for everything you've done. Like, you've helped me through so much. You'll have standing orders, except for you looking at Treladex. You know, you're obviously free to do as you please. But I have one request and one order that supersedes what you already have. As you well know, Sicania's broken at the moment. I don't know how much I can hold this creature back. So if you see me at any point trying to consume a soul, stop me at any costs.
You watch
I
as
don't care what it takes.
all the elementals nod without hesitation. With Treladex there is hesitation before he begins to nod slowly.
Okay. Thank you.
Ba-ba-bum.
I appreciate it. And look over Treladex. Like,
It's okay.
thank you. So that's what she wanted to do with her elementals. So, like, yeah, if he wants to drop concentration, that's fine. She just wanted to
He
make
will,
sure they all
yeah.
understood to take Cat out if she tries anything.
He will.
Okay. Then, so first things first, she'll rummage through her bag quick, she'll say thanks to her granddad for doing that, and then hand him the letter that she's been carrying from Vigor.
He takes the letter. It was from Vigor, yeah.
My brain was like, that's a healing bug. Have I got it right, or am I now confused? Don't worry. We're good.
No, it is Vigor Shadowclave.
I'm having a
yeah.
moment.
He
Okay, I'll
takes the
hand it to him.
letter, he opens it up and begins to read through it. He takes several minutes to do so. I see.
It appeared in my pack after, well, as you well know. I don't know if it helps, if anything, but that's all I've got.
Maybe a little.
Okay. Then she'll turn around. She'll be like, okay, so I've got that one, done that one. Well, we mentioned the being up the mountains and stuff. We met a creature up there. I'll describe him. Black, he was tall, humanoid, had one large eye in the front of his head and a thin, slitted mouth. He spoke Dwarvish and understood magic to the point where he made contact with Sicania and lit up loads of runes on her. The runes that I saw when I first found her, and haven't managed to get them to light up since. He also said that he's seen many like me and Sicania, but different.
Are you able to create an illusion of this individual?
Cat looks like, don't have any illusion spells. Hang on. If you've got a bit of stone.
And he turns the sand to stone.
Okay, I am going to. I could just modify stuff in this place. Can I change that stone to look like the creature?
Okay, go ahead and make me a intelligence check. Adding your proficiency bonus. So this would be +8.
Intelligence check plus my proficiency. Okay, right. So that'd be plus, yeah, because I've got a 4 at the moment, so +4. Okay. 8. Okay. I've got Dice of Chaos, so that rolls bad.
Oh dear.
Okay, 18. 18's not bad.
Sorry, I just got back. What's...
Cat's describing the black creature friend that she found in the mountain that almost invited.
Okay.
She's trying to find out who he was because he knew a lot about Cat.
Yeah.
And other cats.
Sculpt the stone into the visage of them, and Theomar looks it over, and can't say I'm familiar with this creature myself. Not one that I know of. To have known what Sicania was, though, does make it ancient.
Yeah, it was ancient language that showed on the runes. I mean, I saw brief glimpses. It said like short bow, sword. They were just like weapons, and then they changed and showed like emotion, memory, growth, strength. The runes were almost fluid-like.
Interesting. You're trained now to the point that you are getting to the point of surpassing on Becky, correct?
I guess so.
Have you invested at all in scrying?
Well, I mean, I literally just picked the spell up from him the other night.
Oh, that's
It
true.
was one
Yeah.
of the
Sorry.
spells
So
I
he, so
copied.
he,
Yeah.
so he would know this. Sorry. Yeah. For now, if you want, you can borrow the font that I use for scrying.
Okay.
You'll have to get
If I
your
can
own in
locate the
time,
creature.
but possibly.
Okay.
And
Um.
he goes through his pack, and pulls out what looks to be this kind of glass sphere, but it seems to be filled with almost this slightly shifting kind of silver liquid, almost like mercury.
Okay. Hokey pokey. I will have to do that tomorrow, as I don't actually have scrying on because I didn't think I could cast it until I fixed Cychania. So that's cool. Okay, I will try tomorrow to see if I can actually find him.
Of course.
Okay, then there's a couple of personal things, although one is more of a warning. You know that we fought the Herald of Husk. Herald of Husk.
Yes, I am aware that you fought the Herald of Husk.
Okay. In desperation, I used some of the creature's power to try and save everyone. Like, people went down, it was not looking good. And I summoned 3 creatures. You may have seen them. But I had to recapture the bits of slime that had escaped. The bits of this, gesture into herself, that had escaped.
Mm.
2 of them I sent into the central well thing, hoping that they would die. I believe they've died, but I just didn't have enough time to kill them and reclaim the bits of slime. And one of them managed to burrow away. I wasn't fast enough because the Herald had pretty much pinned that area down. There's also a piece that escaped in Trenlor's Rest in the sewers.
That one is under control. The individuals who have your best interests at heart have managed to trap that one, temporarily.
Okay, well, I mean, when it comes to it, if you need, or if you need help, I can reabsorb them.
I'll see about that. I'll mention it to them.
That's fine. It's just an option if you want everything all in one place. But I wanted to let you know, because I don't know what was in that central pool. It looked destructive, and I'm pretty sure they boiled and died, and then it all went back to silver. But again, I don't know what it was. It was just a desperate attempt to try and kill them.
He nods along. I'll mention it to them.
Okay, cool. Then it's just a couple of things. So, when this all first happened, there was a creature of light that showed me where the room was, where I'd fight Cychania. It showed me in a dream, which is how I knew where to get there, how to get there, how to open the door. I have no idea what this creature was, who this creature was, what they really want me to do. I've not heard or seen anything of them. I was just shown. Like, any idea who that could be?
I'm no expert in religion. 6 wings, from what I understand, is a symbol of power or heritage within celestial beings. Well, and devilish as well. The number 6 has relevance. We could go and speak to the individual who Mortar went to. They might have more information on the matter. They're more of a religious expert than I am.
Maybe after the court case, because there's a lot I'm ready to try and get done. Or then.
Otherwise, okay. I know that Tarscott has been looking into the matter.
I do miss her. Might send her a sending at some point. Same with Oak. You heard how Oak's doing?
Oak's doing well. He's mad at me because I've chosen not to intervene.
I can imagine he was protective. I do mean to send a sending to him as well, but I wanted to clear the air with you first. Because, you know, I wanted to approach you in person rather than say, hey, I spoke to everyone, by the way, hi. But
yeah. As for Tarscott, she's been restraining from sending you for some time. I told her to wait until you sent a message to her. Opened that pathway again.
Okay.
Glad to hear she's held her end of the bargain.
Okay, cool. Then all that leaves is a couple of little things, 3 last things. So do you have any idea how to start going about trying to fix a soul? It feels like a taboo subject.
It's a long-forgotten subject, that's for sure. But I can't say I know the details. It's not exactly common knowledge how to fix or repair a soul. Even the details of how to utilize a soul are, for the most part, forbidden. The grave shakers are the ones who have learnt to release a soul so that it can work as it needs to have its final wishes be answered. But even then, they do not dally in the art of controlling or forcing a soul to do something it does not wish to do. Even repairing it in that manner is something that they cannot or do not do. Your best bet, unfortunately, would be to go and speak to Quell. The god of death.
Oh, good lord!
They're the only one who would know that information, and to them it may be forbidden. I would not go there lightly. Many who have gone there seeking something never return.
I can't leave Mum's soul broken.
We'll find a way. With or without her help.
Okay. Okay, I have a favor, and I've avoided using my name because I don't want to bring distrust and hatred towards it, but is it okay if I use my actual name?
Of course.
I felt like I kind of betrayed my family when, you know, everything happened and needed to hide.
You did no such thing.
Still, now that I've got Mum and Dad back, I think, you know, I want to be their daughter, helping save them rather than Ellie, the one that was trying to run away. No, Cat, the one that was trying to... Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know. If this is the confirmation you need, then yes, you're welcome to use your name once again.
Okay.
But know that I never held it against you should you use it.
Thank you. And for the first time ever, she's going to give her granddad a cuddle. Meaningfully.
Yeah. He returns the gesture.
Well, On the last note of business and what's going on, is there anything I need to avoid saying in this court?
Be honest. If they ask you how many people you've killed, give an estimate. It's not strictly against the rules, and technically it's the truth. If they start asking for exact numbers, unless you've been personally recording the information, don't say it.
Well, I requested 7 loops for my hair, and
Could be
6
worse.
of them are for people, and I plan to inscribe their names onto each of the loops, because I want to carry them with me.
It could be worse then. 7 is a
before
small
that-
number in the grand scheme of things, and as much as 7 lives were lost, you're doing all that you can to remember them, which is more honourable than can be said for some individuals.
Yeah, I remember all their names, so... Because, and also, 2 of them are Mum and Dad. Three, if you include Vigor.
You should just answer truthfully. You've got nothing to hide from them. They know most of the details already by now, I imagine. They've asked plenty of individuals for details on you. Individuals, some of whom I've never heard of. But
Start sweating. Okay. Okay. No, that's fine. I didn't know if I mentioned specific things, that'd be like, okay, 1 and done, you're in trouble now.
no. As long as you answer the questions, they'll give you a appropriate judgment.
Okay.
You do not have to worry.
I think that's covered everything. Remember later we need to go and get the loops for
Yes.
headdresses tomorrow.
Caster.
I made a rune, by the way.
Caster kind of looks up and goes, Tomorrow I've got an errand for you to run. I need you to go to a particular shop and go and grab some stuff for us. And Caster gives him a dejected look before kind of resigning to the fact that he is now being an errand boy.
There. Okay, then in that case, that's all Cat needs to talk
Okay.
about. So
Okay.
I'm done
Okay.
for the time being.
Right. Kirv, Romulus, and Vinny, please all roll d20s. Whoever gets the lowest is going to be asked.
Rolling.
That's ominous.
Them doggies rolling, rawhide.
Well, the lowest so far is a 15. Woo! The lowest is a 15.
Wow.
All right, Kirv.
Where are these in initiative, guys?
As you're-
Come on.
Where are these for anything
I was
else?
going to say, if we rolled like this in combat, the chat wouldn't have had to transform so many times, and we wouldn't all be here.
If
You're
anything,
not
our
wrong.
dice rolls should be what's on trial here. Our dice
You
rolls should be what's on trial.
You asked the person who rolled a nat 20 when they had to make goose noises, okay? This is just my niche.
The dice work in mysterious ways. So,
Indeed.
the guards approach your little alcove area with all of the seats as you finished up your snacks. Mortar's only just left to go to his room. Cat's just headed off to speak to Theamar. And the guards approach and they go, "We're looking to speak to the one called Kirv."
Curve word. You're not here. Curve wordlessly stands up and follows.
Alright, come with. No, otherwise head downstairs. You see Beau manning the bar, just kind of cleaning a glass.
I give him a wave.
Raises his glass. Good luck.
You head past. And as you approach the main hall area, you can see the dwarven leaders up above. You can see that some of them have crumbs in their beard. Possibly they've just eaten something for lunch, and they're doing what they do. You can see the spokespeople off to one side, and as you enter, this large kind of stone golem creature kind of crawls forward towards a stand where there is a bottle with what looks to be a glass there and a small ashtray. You go by the name of Kirv, correct?
Yes.
Surname?
Gold tongue.
There's a look between a few of them. Is that of dwarven heritage?
Nope.
Very well. So, we'll begin with some simple questions, which hopefully you'll be able to ask. You've been with the group for how long?
A couple of months.
And how many times have you seen Cat's transformation occur?
Off the top of my head, the player, I'm thinking 3.
About 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Kirv will say roughly 3, I would say.
And in these times when the transformation has taken hold, has there usually been a trigger?
Yes.
What would that trigger be?
Well, I can't always say, since sometimes it happens in the midst of battle, and I am focused on not dying. However, on occasions outside of that, or when I've noticed perhaps Romulus has gone down in a battle, it seems to be stressful situations that trigger Cat.
They nod and continue writing.
And not just small stressful situations, like not getting to have pudding before dinner. We are talking about major injuries and potential loss of life.
Is not having pudding before dinner a regular occurrence?
I believe Cat, in my memory, has only requested it once, and Romulus denied.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check. You have advantage because you have your belt of dwarvenkind.
Yeah, boy.
You just hear from the background. It's important to make sure she eats her greens.
You're not there. But some of there is a discussion between them of. So what was the total? Sorry, it was a 15.
23.
23. There is a discussion between them as now they are now seemingly distracted in their debate on whether pudding before dinner is a good idea or not. It's not necessarily thrown it off topic, but you get the sense that what may have been a serious, here's the question sort of thing has now turned into a gentle debate of, but I like my ice cream before pudding. Or before pudding? Before dinner. Yeah. And stuff like that.
Oh God, they're worse than the hobbits. I mean halflings.
You mean halflings? It's fine. Hobbits, we all know the dwarves feast and hobbits prepare delicious meals. Anyway.
And get very angry at the dwarves that have invaded their home.
Yes, this is true. Regardless, so you said it was mainly high-stress scenarios.
Yes.
Understood. Have there been any actions that you have taken as a group or individual to ease some of this stress, if this is a notable trigger?
I have, on one occasion, attempted to use command in order to calm down Cat when she was in that state.
Did it work?
On that occasion, no, it did not work. But I'm not the only one on the team.
Understood. And what is your relationship with a goose?
I tried to not give it away, I promise.
Well, to sum it up, very poor.
We have been informed that you were looking for a goose.
Yes, that is correct.
Is it a specific goose? Does it have a name, defining features?
I don't know if it has a name. It is a hell goose.
Never heard of one of those before. Thank you. May I ask where you are from?
I am from Dis.
The second circle of hell.
That's the one.
There's a little bit more conversation between the dwarves in this moment. And do your companions know that you are from hell?
Yes, all of them.
And they trust you?
I don't know. You would have to ask them.
We will. There's some more scribbling and kind of note-taking. If there's anything you wish to say or statement in regards to all of this, please feel free to speak your testimony now.
If you would all allow, I would actually like... Indeed. If you... But I would...
You'd refrain from the snarky comments as well.
No, I felt that actually physically. I was going to say, if you would allow, I would like to give a demonstration.
A demonstration of what?
Well, I would require the presence of as many other party members as you are able to retrieve, including Cat, and I would like to demonstrate that Cat is in control.
We will put your request in consideration.
I understand.
After we have spoken to the others, we will finish on this.
If it turns out that you decide not to witness the demonstration, I would like to be notified, and I would like to provide an alternative statement.
Provide the alternative statement now, if possible, and we will consider the demonstration.
My statement is that from what I have observed, I fully believe that Cat is the safest and most secure when with this party. And that we work to keep her positive. And perhaps no one more as Romulus does.
Does Kirv believe all of what she's just stated?
Yes, she does.
Okay. They take note of this. Thank you. Please return to your group, and do not collaborate anything that you have heard here. The guards will be listening. If you are, and we will notify you of this demonstration depending on what the jury comes to the understanding of.
I understand. And she stands up to leave.
Okay. You leave.
It's electrocuted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're like, nah, she's a fiend. We'll kill her. We got what we wanted.
Fly swatter.
It's got horns. The cattle prod.
My one weakness.
That's most of the
Electricity.
party. We're in trouble.
The one damage type I'm not resistant to.
Okay.
No.
Kirv, make
Ow,
me.
prods.
Kirv,
Yeah?
make me 2d20 rolls, please.
Ooh, okay. There's a 19 and a 9.
Okay. As you begin to walk away, one of the spokespeople says something, and then there's a moment where the guards stop and they kind of turn, and there's a call of, "We would like to speak to one of your familiars." And
Oh God.
in this moment, Eugene isn't paying attention, and Filch flies over because he sees an ashtray.
Okay.
You may go. We will return him once we are done.
Filch, are you content with this?
Yeah, it'll be alright, boss. I'll tell them everything they need to know.
Oh God, no. Get killed by a bird.
And you cannot lie, remember, or they will know.
Trust me, I know. And he winks.
Oh, fuck it. Okay, she leaves.
They
Okay,
are,
you leave.
fairness.
Please, can we hear this?
Okay. As the door closes behind, the spokesperson goes, "Your name?" "Ah!" And they look down, and one of the scribes goes, "Said his name's Filch." "So, Mr. Filch."
Miss.
Oh, I'm liking that. You sure you don't want me as your familiar, miss? I won't repeat what he just said.
Fuck's sake.
As somebody else is beginning to transcribe it down. Would you say that Cat is at her safest within this group? I mean, depends what you mean safest. With free will, like free roaming, then yeah, probably. But if you want her to be real safe, you give her the Lord of Crows. You can imprison her for hundreds of years and there's nothing she'll be able to do about it.
What?
Interesting to note. And that is your leader? Leader, person in charge of me, anyway. So you're not a familiar? Oh, yeah, I'm a familiar. But, you know, I have a higher purpose. I see. And when you've seen this creature transform, does Cat have control of it? Nah, not in the slightest. She goes rampage, kills people. Usually the bad guys, and then after she's run out of bad guys, she goes for us. I see. So she has a semblance of control, would you say? About as much control as Eugene around the wheel of cheese. I'll pretend I understood what that means.
Let the record show that Eugene around a wheel of cheese is very similar to a dwarven college party next to a keg.
Accurate.
Damn bird.
And and would you say that this creature inside of Cat is a threat? Oh yeah, 100%. How would you call it a threat? Well, it eats souls, doesn't it? It eats people. It means they don't go to hell. It means we don't get our water through the sticks. Which means suddenly our infrastructure won't work. Told them it was a stupid idea. But they said there'll always be evil people. So it consumes souls. Yeah. Not many, though. How many is not many? If I were to guess, maybe a dozen. There's murmuring amongst the court.
I want to say it's been like at most 6.
Filch can't count.
Filch can't count.
They
Well.
want to get a testament from a bird, then that's what they get.
Yep, that's so true. And would you say that Cat has control over the creature outside of the transformations? Yeah, outside of the transformations, she's pretty good. There was this one time that her memories came back, though. Things were weird, and one of the party members, Mortar, bit of a prick, but at the same time, he's a good guy. He told her the truth, and she didn't like the truth, and she transformed into this weird, broken winged thing, and it did these weird psychic beams going, and he just kind of does finger guns with his wings. There's these weird psychic beams, and yeah, it was weird. There was this other time that she transformed and turned into a tree. There's, again, murmuring and confused discussion between them. Right. Thank you, Filch, for your insightful answers. My pleasure. Call me Mr. Filch. And he otherwise dabs his cigarette on the ashtray and flies out. Filch returns not too long later to you, Kirv. You can call me Mr. Filch from now on.
Oh, can I?
Yeah. They understood my ability and respected it.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Filch. Have you felt that I've been demeaning you?
It's got an ass inside that. Was a 9. Yeah, of course.
Well, maybe you want to go back to the Lord of Crows. Perhaps he will call you Mr. Filch.
Yeah, maybe he will.
Maybe he will. Aww. Watch your fucking back.
Right.
Roll me an intimidation check. With advantage, because he's a familiar.
Fuck.
Yeah, there's a moment of like
25.
he drops his cigarette, and then it's like, oh, my apologies, just call me Filch. And he grabs his cigarette and he goes down to the bar with Beau. Gone all crackly. Might need to unplug and plug your mic back in.
Sorry, is that better?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it did it again.
Yeah, sorry. I was readjusting it
That's right.
after I'd asked.
So, as that concludes, you all get some sleep. Nothing else for the rest of the day. The rest of the day goes by fairly easily. Is there anything anyone would like to do before they go to sleep? No? Nobody wants to do anything? Or have I disconnected? Hello? I still have ping on here. It's just in Discord.
A blessing from the Lord.
And yes, you just heard my Discord entry sound, Twitch.
Was it just me fucking up
No,
there?
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Can anyone else hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh.
Something
I
happened
think
with
we all
Discord
had a
there.
moment.
Yeah, it was a Discord
must have
thing.
been the call.
Must have been the wind.
Those fucking stealth patches.
So I asked, you were all heading to bed. You
Going to
all
bed.
heard that?
Mhm.
Okay,
Going to
cool.
bed, yeah.
Is there anything anybody wanted to do before you went to bed?
No.
I
Did
will
I pick up my
hand.
band? Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say that I hand over all the little versions of people's weapons to them.
Mhm.
So Beau, I've finished up your revolvers. I've also attached like a little hook, like a little loop to it, so that if you want to, you can put it on something if you like. I don't mind. Or hang it somewhere. Obviously, I've already passed the scythe and the scorpion over to Mortar and Kirv. So I hand over the 2 little short swords and the sculpture of Sicania over to Vinny and Cat. And anyone who wants to, please make me a perception check.
Okay.
I know it's wild when I call for things, isn't it?
Yeah, that really threw me. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
fine with it. I ain't got any problems with that.
4.
Did anyone get over a 10?
Oh, no, sorry.
So is this a perception check for the items?
Just a perception check as I hand them out to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna go Tides of Chaosic because we're going to bed.
Mortar, I rolled for you just because I don't know what was going on, but you rolled a 17 because you have advantage on this, plus whatever your perception is.
Okay.
Anyone
So it'd be +8 for me.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty safe, I reckon.
DC 10, you're
20.
Yeah, I'd say.
Anyone who cares to notice will see that in like the pouch at his waist, there is a little wooden stagger that is sticking out of Romulus's little pouch at his side. That's just a fun little thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
A stagger?
Oh, cute.
Yes,
His
a
weapon.
version of my main weapon.
Oh, okay.
He's got a
cool.
letter opener.
That's all
As,
that was for. Well done.
Well, as Romulus leaves the room, Cal stop his sec. Romulus, you know that tooth you picked up a while back?
Which one?
The giant tooth.
Yes.
Would you be able to use a little bit of it to carve a sculpture of me?
Does it have to be that tooth?
Basically, if I can get it, the high enough tier material, then I have a chance of keeping everyone in the party alive.
Sounds good enough to me. How big does it have to be?
Only the tip's only got to be, was it 1,000 GP, Chris?
It'll be 1,000 GP's worth, but it is a tier. If I remember correctly, it was a tier 7 ingredient.
Tier
so
7.
that's like a 1/10 of it at most.
Yeah.
So you're looking at like either the sharp end or like maybe a quarter section of like the other end.
So just a little bit, just like the tip of the tooth. It'll still be enough for you to do what you need to do with it, but that gives me the ability to.
Okay, I will have to check this, Chris. In order for
Yes.
me to turn this eventually into an appropriate item for making like a real proper good weapon later on down the line, will there be enough left of it?
Yes. It will be one of those that, depending on the weapon you're trying to make, the tooth will be like, at the end of the day, the tooth will be useful for making things like warhammers because it's just generally heavy and doesn't need to be sharp. You could make it sharp and use it for various blades, but the main thing is you don't need to make the whole weapon out of it. You'll be making, like, this would be just the head of the weapon or the blade of the weapon, as opposed to, like, the rest of it. You'd have still, like, the main handle of the weapon or the pommel, any of that would be with different metals and materials.
In my mind, weirdly enough, I'm thinking like a halberd or like an extended greatsword type deal.
So another half blade sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I do want to make something that's technically a polearm, but it's really difficult to get that and get the best damage efficiency.
Yeah.
So.
And then as you say that, it's just a tip of it. She said, "Oh, one more thing. When we get some free time," and she'll gesture to, like, she's got notes literally everywhere. Some scrawled with the court stuff, some with different things. You see, amongst it all is a new rune that she's been working on. I've created something that we can work on together. This is called the Negate Rune. It's designed to neutralize or adapt magic, give some degree of immunity or cancelling it out, or all in all. So, I'll see if we can work and improvise it to generate a rune that you could use.
That would be perfect. I'd love to.
Oh. Okay, well, I'm gonna head off to bed. I hope you sleep well. She'll give you a hug. Sleep
I
tight.
give her a hug back. Also, I so need a nap. I have been at almost half health for so long.
Most of you would
Valid.
have taken a short rest during the day. It's generally all right. Just yeah. So feel free to mark a long rest at this point.
Hooray!
So, is there anything anybody else
head
wanted
to
to
bed.
do before bed?
No, all good.
There was something you know, the loops for the hair. He said
Mhm.
come back at the end of the day and collect them.
Caster's gone and got them. Yeah.
He's gone and got them, so I've got them now. Then.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna spend a little bit of time carving, or with magical ink and some blood crystal dust, infusing the negate rune into each of them.
Yep. Okay.
I'm going to sleep then.
Alrighty. As you each begin to head to bed, Beau, while you're finishing up at the bar, Filch is having a conversation with you. You can't understand a word he's saying, it's just bird calls. But he's been having a conversation with you and complaining by the sounds of it. But you're not entirely sure about what.
Yeah.
He's gone through at least 3 cigarettes and at least 2 glasses of whiskey. But he seems to be fine. And he falls asleep at the bar. So do with that what you want. If you want to break Filch's neck and send him on home, or if you want to bring him with you and have a bird in your room for the morning.
I like to think that he's mid-core as he just falls flat with a bonk on the table.
I would like do like a drawing on his face or something, some glasses.
Oh.
Oh my word. Okay. Draw some glasses on him. Leave him at the bar.
Yeah.
Okay. You will wake up in the bin tomorrow morning.
That's yeah. I've done worse. I woke up in worse.
So, you all head to bed one after another. And as you wake, and before you wake the next morning, Romulus, there's a knock on your door.
Oh, I get up somewhat blearily and open the door.
There are 2 dwarf guards there. Come on, your turn.
Might I get dressed first?
By all means, you got 3 minutes.
All right.
You'll literally walk
quickly-
around with just a loincloth on and a shawl, which is why we got you, because it's not going to take an hour to put your armor on.
I will have you know, it is a Minotaur ancestral kilt alongside the loincloth. Anyhow, I close the door.
You got 2 minutes.
That's fine. Romulus goes to the package that he picked up the day previous. He scores it open and reveals the contents.
Oh, yes. Okay.
He pulls out.
So, before you... Just for the big reveal. As you exit the door, what do the dwarves see?
The dwarves see a Minotaur, dark grey fur, somewhat scarred and weathered, not old, but certainly has seen life. They see, as ever, hooves beset with, I believe, some sort of like appropriate shoeing to ensure, decent strength and I'm not going to damage myself.
Mm-hmm.
My ancestral Minotaur kilt, pouches and what have you. But unexpectedly, they see that around and atop his torso, Romulus is wearing a shirt.
Oh,
A day of
It-
prophecy.
It is a light grey, intended to work well with his tones, with a slight, very slight bit of brown threading along the arms. The sleeves are rolled up, as when he tried to put the cuffs, to like button up the cuffs, it did not go terribly well, and so he just ended up rolling them up. He had to get dressed too quickly. He only had 2 minutes. But there is brown threading along that, and also alongside the seams where the buttons are. I say buttons; they are in fact toggles, with sort of like tooth-shaped wooden toggles that holds it closed. It is fitted to Romulus, so it is fairly tight, not to the point of being like restrictive, but it certainly does. He's not swimming in it by any means, and the collar is very stark and starched. Clearly, he is trying to look put together and smart.
Okay.
Very well. Let us be on our way.
The dwarves do a double take, and the one who said the stuff earlier goes, "My apologies, sir. Let's go."
The internal monologue. They called me sir. It's working.
As
God.
you are led to the courtroom, you head inside and you can see that there are braziers and lanterns that are otherwise lit. It isn't necessarily the dead of night by any means, but it is late. But, you know, this is a dwarf city. Day and night's a bit more loose here. As you approach the main platform, a number of them otherwise look up. There seems to be individuals that are otherwise writing stuff down, preparing all of these little bits and pieces before the large stone creature approaches the platform once again. And the adjudicator steps up and goes, "Right, you are Romulus Rust, correct?
Indeed.
Son of the Undying Lord."
Correct.
Wonderful. Now, how have you been with Kat the longest out of this group?
Yes, we met each other whilst she was adventuring alone. I was also adventuring alone, and when I realized that a youngling was not being accompanied, I could not leave her on her own, so I took up a caring role, a guardian.
A father figure, if
And
you
over
will.
time, yes, I
Hmm.
think it took us a little bit to get there, but I would gladly call her my daughter.
Has she been... In all the time that you knew her, how long did it take to learn of the corruption that she had? Was she
Not
open
terribly
about
long.
it, should I say?
Not initially. As I'm sure you're aware, it is quite a scary thing to discuss with a stranger, and we did start as strangers. But as time developed and we got to know each other, she revealed to me her situation, and, well, I have done my best to help her through it.
Understood. And do you know what this corruption is? Exactly.
I don't think we know enough to say exactly what it is. I know, if I remember correctly, that it is certainly something that has existed from the time of the atrocities, perhaps longer. Do correct me if I say anything wrong, Chris.
I will.
Because I'm just going off of memory.
Yep, that's fine.
It appears to be some sort of conglomeration of souls. I don't know whether it merely consumes the souls and contains them, or whether it itself is a conglomeration of malevolent souls that wants to consume more, or whether there's an overarching will to it beyond that. My own experience and understanding has been that even though a vast majority of it wishes to consume, there are souls within that are good. It is simply that they are outweighed by those that are not. If I was to take a guess at it, it gives to me the sense of containment, something that was intended to house things that needed to be sealed, but in doing so, instead merely changed the nature of them. Their combined will enough to crack the chains that bound it. But that is merely speculation.
You mentioned there being good souls within it. Have you contacted the corruption or souls within it?
Only through contact with Kat, Ellie, I believe. I'm not sure how you would be referring to her currently.
Either term is welcome here.
We have been telepathically linked at times, and obviously I have encountered the creature directly. In terms of communicating with the creature directly, that has been difficult. However, in telepathic moments when we've been connected, whilst Kat has been, well, attempting to deal with the creature, I, for example, was able to see that the souls of her parents were in there and uncorrupted.
There's murmur throughout the court. You mentioned when she was dealing with this, does she transform when she begins to become corrupted?
There are layers to it. There have been times where she has attempted to understand the creature to better control it, and has entered meditative states. At these times, very little physical transformation occurs, unless things go poorly, at which point her physical form has at times taken on different aspects and different transformations, some of which have been permanent. When the creature is able to gain a modicum of control or freedom, that is when her form changes considerably, and it is at this point that it is not exactly Cat we are dealing with, although Cat can listen in and, provided support, wrest control back.
So a give and take to a certain degree.
To a certain degree.
Understood.
To answer your question, dependent on the form of contact and the form of impact, that is the changes the transformative aspects of it.
How many forms have you seen thus far?
Well, disregarding the varying changes to her physical form on the day-to-day, I would say that I have seen, I want to say 3, Chris?
3 is correct, yeah.
I believe I have seen 3 of them. Again, I'm uncertain as to what the difference between them is, whether this is a matter of levels of freedom or whether they are separate creatures or what. I couldn't speculate.
Understood. And I suppose one final question. Have you or the group done research on the matter on how to potentially aid her recovery or the cleansing of this corruption?
We've tried. I am not particularly scholarly, and I think it is my greatest shame that I am not able to help in such matters terribly well. But I try my best to support her when I see that she is beginning to lose any control, usually during extremely stressful circumstances. Unfortunately, some of those circumstances do occur when I'm dying, which is not ideal.
A turbulent life, then. If there's anything else that you wish to state as part of your testament, or anything you wish to add, you're welcome to do so and speak freely.
Cat is stronger than we give her credit for, than I think anyone gives her credit for. Few could carry the weight that she does and still be trying to find a way to fix it, and not have already succumbed. It is a heavy burden she bears, but bear it she does. And I do not think that there are many who would make the same amount of progress she has in controlling this creature. She has stumbled, certainly. She is a child. She makes mistakes, and she is dealing with something far greater than I believe any of us here have had to deal with directly. But she learns, and she grows, and she is supported. I do wonder if the life we have led is the right one for her. A parent worries, of course. But at the same time, I do not know if she would have been able to face the challenge that is this creature without the support of others, without experience to temper her understanding, without a life with which to combat this destruction that lurks within. On a personal note, she is my daughter. I say that with pride, and I say that with all the force that a parent's care can muster.
Thank you, Mr. Rust.
I had a whole thing left. I would die to protect Cat, but in order to protect Cat from this creature, I will live. For her sake. So do not be concerned on me throwing myself into danger and that being a potential cause for concern. My only concern is making sure that she is all right. And Romulus steps down from whatever podium he has magically managed to appearify beneath him.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Rust. You may return to your room for some sleep.
Sharp nod, and then walks out. On his way out, the moment he's out the door, he's like unbuttoning at least one or two of the buttons.
Oh, it feels so much more freeing.
I would hope so.
Just clenches all his muscles and the shirt disintegrates.
Oh, don't even.
The one that was it had one good run. That's all it needed.
No, I'm keeping hold of this. I will also wear it at Cat's wedding.
Weird wedding. Which dad's walking me down the aisle?
Both.
All of them.
Hold on.
Good lord.
Sorry, what you've just said has reminded me of... There we go. Let's see. Is this going to load up properly? Load this up properly. Alright. Hopefully this works. There you go. This is the GIF that I was reminded of when... yep, there we go. Oh, is it not play? It's not playing the GIF. No. Boo. Some of you may already know the scene, though.
I do know the scene. I do want to see the GIF, though.
I know. So do I.
We'll
Darn
go
GIF.
to the interwebs.
Darn
Click.
GIF not playing. For those of you who at home are watching this, well, you may not be at home. The scene from Lapito Castle in the Sky when the dude does the shirt bursting scene in the street when comparing himself to one of the Dola gang group.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, hopefully this one works better. Is this one going to work, or is this also not going to work? Gosh darn it! Why is
No, but it is bigger.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it!
I like the idea
Oh, yeah.
that it's slowly zooming in on that lady whose eyes are just over the bulge of her arm, and I'm just like,
Oh my word! Okay, yeah. For some reason I
What
can't.
the fuck is this guy doing?
My husband. What's he doing? Oh, anyway. But yes. So you head back to your room. You lay down for some sleep. And yeah, you feel much better after all that has happened. So you will get a long rest. You will get some nice sleep before the next day comes around, and I will have one more person go. So the remaining individuals, including Cat, because this might conclude early if Cat rolls low enough. Cat will roll with advantage, and I would like Mortar, Vinny, and Kirv to all roll.
didn't Kirv already go?
Oh no, Kirv already
Kirv
went.
already
Yeah. Sorry.
That's not to do with
Vinny
all
and
the...
Mortar.
Okay.
I got 7.
Mortar got a 2.
I got a 2.
So, Mortar, as the morning comes around, you get up from your bed, and there's after having simple shower and simple bath and early breakfast, you head out into the main foyer. You can see there's a pair of guards waiting, and as you're the first to leave, they otherwise gesture for you to follow them.
So I'll kind of sigh, roll his eyes, and follow.
Okay, you follow along. As you follow along through the various corridors, you, with your high passive perception, notice a passed out Filch on the bar, with what looks to be a pair of glasses that have been drawn on his feathers. It's really weird. As you watch the bar person kind of sweeps Filch off and into the nearby dustbin.
As he does that, like as his back turns, can I try to pinch a drink from the bar?
You're looking down over the bar. You're on the level above.
Oh, okay.
So
Never mind.
Fishing rod?
9th level spell fish.
Oh damn, it's relevant.
Now have a bottle.
Fish up a bottle.
Yep. Yeah. Best use for a 9th level spell. So you are led to the court, and upon arriving, you can see that there are dwarves there. You can see they've got what looks to be breakfasts in front of them as the various individuals are eating. You can see that there are spokespeople to one side who are all kind of watching as you enter, and a large stone golem kind of walks up to the main platform where you're expected to stand.
Mortar will stand.
Good morning. Your name is Mortar?
Yep.
The adjudicator's eyes flare. It's not Mortar? Let me rephrase that. What is your original name?
Sahib.
No. Note it down. But you go by Mortar, correct?
Correct.
Understood. So, would you prefer me to call you Mortar before we begin?
I don't care.
So, you have been with this group for how long, roughly?
Month. Roughly. It'll take.
And during that time, have you ever seen the corruption that Cat has begin to break free? Not through transformations.
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate?
No.
They make a note. What do you know about her losing control?
A fair amount.
And that is?
Something triggers her. She either gets mad or upset or sees someone close to her going to die or be injured or hurt, and she reacts like anybody would in that situation.
Has she ever tried to use the power before?
Can you explain the question?
Has she ever tried to use it? Either use it for her own intentions or call upon it to benefit her?
Yes.
In those scenarios, has anything ever gone wrong?
Yes.
Understood. Thank you. They nod, and the guards turn. And they gesture for you to follow.
Mortar will follow.
Okay.
The quickest peering ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You leave.
Mortar don't want to give these guys too much. Like he's like
No.
nah. Like,
And as a result, they weren't going to
like,
let. And as a
this is my
result,
buddy.
yeah. And as a result, they weren't going to let you give a testimony either. So they're going to assume the worst for all the questions you didn't fully answer.
I answered all of them correctly.
Yeah.
I answered all of them truthfully. They asked me if I wanted to elaborate, and I told them truthfully that I don't.
Okay.
Yep.
Valid.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you head back to, your room. Nobody really noticed that you were gone, given how quick it was.
Hey,
As you
that's
head,
not nice.
It was the early morning. Nobody's awake. Mortar went to bed early.
Yeah, Mortar just head back upstairs. No, I think he's gonna go out for a walk. I think after that he's kind of like, I don't know. I think maybe he's just thinking about everything that's kind of happened so far, and I think he's planning ahead.
Okay. With that, as you go out for the walk and everybody else begins to continue their day, I think we'll end our session there.
I want more.
You want more?
Vinny.
Yeah.
Vinny's the last person to give statement now, isn't he?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
I guess so, yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
Ugh.
All right. Alrighty. So, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will be back next week where we will continue with the final two who need to do their discussion, which is Vinny and Kat, which will conclude the court case. So, thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.